All right, so welcome everyone to the HomeSmart Business Builder on open houses and open house success. I want to thank everyone for joining us here today. And this is the fourth in a series of 4 webinars that we've had. We're going to go through a couple things on a PowerPoint real quick, but then we're going to make the PowerPoint go away. We're going to zoom in on our panelists today and have a great conversation about working with open houses. The whole goal of all of these webinars and everything that we're talking about today is for all of you to do more transactions with buyers, more transactions with sellers. And, you know, Davin and Chris, both of them are committed. You know, they agreed to do this because they love helping other agents do more transactions, getting better as well. So I want to thank all of our panelists that we've had so far on the Business Builder. Week 1, Tina and Kara. Week 2, John and Jennifer and Sherry. Week 3, we had Tammy, Kim, Zach, and Mel. And then this week, Chris Lardie and Davin Emmons coming to us live from Mission Viejo, California, where it is gorgeous and balmy. And but those two are busy working hard. Don't let let it fool you. Want to talk real quick. Anybody that's watching on Facebook Live, and if you haven't registered, go to homesmart.com/open-house. Make sure you get registered so we can send you any follow-up materials from the event, and also make sure you get some of the resources that we've gathered through the different events. Now, as you see up on the screen, we were talking about blocking out our calendar earlier. Today is the 22nd. It's the 4th of the series of 4. But next Monday, April 30th, we're going to have one more webinar. It's going to be a Did You Know webinar. It's going to start same time as this one, 11 o'clock Pacific, 12 noon Mountain, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. But I'm excited to talk about next week's Did You Know webinar. It's a great follow-up to working with open houses, because the company that we are going to have on and the product that we're going to talk about is HomeBot. It's a great seller engagement tool. This is a listing generator tool, and it's a great tool that you can provide to your clients, your past customers, your sphere, and it kind of tells them about their investment that they have in real estate, how much it's going up and down every month, what are some of the things that they can do to make their business better. So please check out HomeBot next week. Did you know, 1 week from today, right here at the same time, the Did You Know webinar from HomeSmart International. And join us next week. Now, let's talk about igniting our marketing and building your brand and doing it through open houses. I want to start real quick this week. Want to make sure that we do a shout out for a couple of the agents who told us about their open houses last week. I want to start real quick with Kimberly Heary. She's out of New Jersey, doing an open house 2 days in a row for a $199,000 home. She said she had like 8 different, prospects that she felt were really solid that came out of it, and 3 buyers, 2 sellers. And then in one of the columns on the sheet, it said expected transaction, and there was a $6 million mark in there. So I don't know if that meant that one of those buyers was a $6 million buyer, but if so, Kimberly, kudos. Just proof again that open houses work. And then Lee McKittrick, HomeSmart Realty Group in Colorado, $495,000 home, $497, 20 plus prospects through. Feels he has one real good solid buyer at $475. So just awesome. Good job. Kudos to the two of you. And now, without further ado, let's get to Chris and Davin, both from Mission Viejo. Thank you both for joining us today. Say hello to the crew.
Thanks for having us. I appreciate it.
Hey,
all right.
Todd, thanks so much for having us on today. We're really grateful. It was exciting to meet you this past year in Phoenix, and we just love the company and love to share our information with everybody. I think the way I feel about it is like there's so many listings out there, and if I can help somebody else in Phoenix, New Jersey, New Mexico, wherever else get a listing, then let's do it.
Yep.
I'm going to echo that and say, ultimately, everyone in the HomeSmart is a family. So if we can do anything to promote and build the HomeSmart brand, it helps me and makes my job easier as well.
Right. Well, I'm going to invite everyone right now to follow the two of you on social media, whether it be Instagram or Facebook, or just find you via email and connect with the two of you because, hey, we just all want to build our sphere in our network, right?
Right.
I want to do a quick, brief intro on the both of you. And then we're going to kind of make the PowerPoint go away, and I just kind of want to chat and talk. We got some feedback last week. They wanted to hear a little bit more of that and see more of that from us. So we're going to talk here real quick. Chris, tell a little bit about you. There, right up there on the screen, there's your contact info. You are with HomeSmart Evergreen in Irvine, Orange County, Southern California area. Pretty much both of you, I think, will sell real estate anywhere in Southern California that someone wants to do business. Both of you are kind of headquartered there out of the Mission Viejo area. But there's your phone number. There's your email address for everyone to get in touch with you. But I want to tell them a little bit about you, though, Chris, though, too. You're born in California. You were raised in Washington State, right? Joined the U.S. Navy in 1988. Served 25 and a half years. You retired as a U.S. Senior Chief Petty Officer after 25 years of service. Thank you. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And really appreciate you and just commend you for all of your service and just proud to know you. Licensed realtor since 2013. 2013 to present, you sold over 200 and some homes already.
Wow.
And yes, you are a top producer. You're with us at our awards banquet back in February at the Top Producer Gala event. So just congratulations on you and in your business. Thanks for joining us. I want to talk a little bit about Davin. So Davin is also with HomeSmart Evergreen. I understand the two of you live near each other, but yet you both seem to have very diverse businesses. So that's why, but yet also similar. So that's why I'm looking forward to having us talk today. I love the little GIF you have on your email signature, providing exceptional service every time. Love that. Had to kind of show everybody that. A little bit about your background. So you were licensed, Davin was licensed in 2004, but he was a full-time deputy sheriff with the Los Angeles County Sheriff Department for 29 years up until October 2017. So the whole time that you were licensed, you were actually doing 2 full-time jobs, right?
I was working 2 full-time jobs. It was called maximization of my time.
Love it. And that's what you do. Just watching you even work this morning, getting ready for the call. You're on the phone with the locksmith. You're doing something else, and you're like, you got to get business done. But I also would like to thank you for your service to our community.
Thank you.
Yeah, 29 years. That's awesome. Even then, though, while you were a sheriff, you were selling 20 to 25 homes a year. So at some point, I kind of hope you talk a little bit about that work ethic and that you got to have discipline, I think, to do that, especially while you're working 2 full-time jobs. So hopefully you could share some of that. And you told me earlier, you love working with first-time home buyers, and I'm sure you're going to talk about that. And number 9 last year, but moving up, getting bigger and bigger every year.
Doing what we can.
I'm going to show your sign real quick, and then I just want to talk about 3 Instagram posts, and then we're going to shut the PowerPoint off and talk. So one thing I love about your sign, you have search for homes. You have a big oversized sign. You have your photograph on your sign. You got your Davin logo, which is kind of known, right?
That's right.
Well marketed as your brand. Search for homes by texting Evergreen 26 to 32323. What happens when I do that?
It actually, just full disclosure, I just recently removed that and had a developer create a app for me. So now I have an app in the Google Play Store and also the Apple Store, which is what I have on my signs.
Great. Awesome. And I want to talk a little bit about your social media. I don't mean to put you on the spot, and I wasn't stalking you, kind of. But no, actually, I've been following you for a while. But there's one thing that I love about your social media is everything that you post comes from a servant attitude and a servant heart. You talk about how you're trying to take care of your customers. So you're talking about, hey, reviewing an offer, and you do this frequently because you're just trying to maintain that top of mind awareness, right? And
As long as I can stay in front of my clients, we're doing our jobs.
That's right. And here you're talking about reviewing an offer. Everybody, look at what's up on the screen, his little post. Reviewing an offer that came in overnight on one of my listings. It's a great offer. It's time to strategize my counter and ensure that my clients' interests are fully protected. Then you got hashtag top producer, experience matters. I can help you too. Love that. Who took the photo?
I think it was my transaction coordinator.
A little selfie. You have somebody take. I like it.
Yeah.
I love it. And I love your background back there, your poster you have up on the wall. Courage, discipline, sacrifice, dedication. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Gives a little insight into you. The next one, you're talking about, you're out traveling around. You took a photograph of one of your offices and you're saying, hey, it's sure nice having offices all over. But you don't stop it there. You're talking about what it means to your customer. You say it allows me the flexibility and the convenience to work from an office closest to where my appointments and my clients are. So it's kind of saying you're reminding them again about how where you work, who you work with helps you serve them better, not just about the office. So last one here. This one I saw a couple weeks ago. And I saw it late at night because I was traveling somewhere. I was like dead tired, sleepy, and I see this thing come through and it says, I'm the last one at the office again. Had such an incredibly action-packed day. You're looking at the dark over there. I think that's water in the background, right? Over the
Lake Mission Viejo.
Lake Mission Viejo. I love it. Talking about what you have tomorrow, several escrows, preparing for tomorrow's day. It's just a great subtle reminder that you are putting in the work to take care of your customers. So just kudos. Good job.
Thank you.
So let's talk open houses with Davin and Chris. And for those that want to ask questions, get on the chat, ask me some different questions. You can either do it in the Q&A or do it by the chat. But I'd like us to focus real quick on what we do before an open house, what we do during or at an open house, and what we do after an open house. So if you can both just tell me a little bit about your businesses, what you do. Also tell me about how you make it not just about buyers, but how you make it about sellers as well. That open houses really are about both. So who wants to start?
Okay, I'll start.
All right.
One of the most important aspects about being a realtor and finding a level of success is promotion of your listings. One of the things that I like to do when I take a new listing is provide direct mail marketing. And in my direct mail marketing, I'm showcasing the property. I have a professional photographer that comes out and shoots the property just so that we have the right angles, the right the aperture being correct so that it maximizes the beauty of the home. When I do an open house, I typically promote the open house through direct mail marketing in the area. And also I promote it to the downsphere, meaning if it's an $800,000 listing, who's going to buy that property? It's typically the $550,000, $600,000 sellers. So I send direct mail marketing to them as well, just trying to create some type of buying frenzy. And you were talking about it helps with sellers as well. Well, absolutely. If I send this direct mail marketing to the neighborhood and also to the sphere below, it helps promote more listings.
Love it. And photography, you talked a little bit on photography. What do you do with photography?
Well, I personally love realtors who use their own cell phones to take pictures of the property because it's not high quality. I love that because when I go into a listing presentation, I indicate to the client that I have a professional real estate photographer. They come out, shoot the property. It's fee-based. I pay for it. I don't charge the client. That's just part of what I provide with my clients. And they turn around, give me the photos about 24 hours later, and that goes everywhere. It goes on all the social media sites. It goes on the secondary real estate sites, Zillow, Redfin, etc. Right. And it shows the beauty of every home. Even if the home is a little rough, the pictures are still a better quality than what I can do with my smartphone.
Right. Right.
Can I jump in on that real quick?
Yeah, Chris, go ahead.
So I 100% agree with Davin. We as realtors are getting paid an incredible amount of money to sell these homes. Even if you have to discount your commission in any way, shape, or form, there's no reason for you to show up and take photos with an iPhone or even pull out a Canon, because for $250, you get really good photos of the house and it shows true representation. So I too love it when a agent goes out and takes photos with an iPhone, because when I take my buyers to that house, it gives me leverage for me to write an offer that's not quite at par, because they've not showed the house properly. So when you provide really good photos, you're now telling people like, hey, this is a $1 million house right here.
Right. So what's the most expensive home that you've sold, Chris?
$1.7 million.
And did you do an open house for that?
I did.
That home?
In fact, I did several open houses on that.
Okay.
And it was actually I hate to say it was a cash cow for me. I ended up having multiple buyers actually in the 7, 8, 9, and $1 million range, because they kept coming into this open house. And so we ended up selling that one, but we got quite a few buyers out of it.
So how was the decor inside the home? One of the agents is asking, how do you handle staging? Do you pay for it yourself or ask the client to pay for it? And that's from Linda.
You know what? You just walked right into something with Chris. Go ahead, Chris.
Okay, so I got into business in 2013, and what I realized right away was most people don't have their house professionally staged when you list it. And so my wife has got an incredible eye, and so in 2017 she quit her job with the County of Orange and she started Pure Joy Staging and Design. And so she stages all of my houses and a lot of other HomeSmart agents' houses too. Do I pay for it? Absolutely. I negotiate into my commission. So when I go into a listing appointment and I know that this person's going to try to negotiate me down, I just tell them straight up 6%, and I'm going to pay for your home staging. So that's how I kind of work it. But I have it easy because my wife owns a company.
Right.
So
awesome. So Davin, how about you? Staging?
Go ahead.
Staging?
Yeah, no, it's something that I provide as well. I've used another staging company. I just recently found out, maybe within the last year, about Pure Joy Staging. And I can tell you, she does an amazing job.
Yeah.
But that's also something that I provide. When we go out to these properties, we should let them know what will increase the value of their home. I was just at one, I think last weekend, and we just kind of went over point by point. Even if it comes down to, doing some minor gardening or something, we need to be able to provide to them. If I can get my client to spend $1,000, $3,000 in order to create another $10,000 on the sale of their home, why would we not do that? And yes, that's something that I provide. That's an out-of-pocket expense for me. I feel, just like Chris said a little earlier, we get paid a very nice commission in order to represent the property. And if it costs me a couple of dollars going into my pocket, then so be it. Let's get it done. And once again, the reason why we do these things is to impress the neighbors as well.
Yeah.
Right.
We want the neighbors to be impressed so that when there's time for them to sell in 2 months, 3 months, they're thinking, you know what, Chris did a good job. Davin did a good job. Let's give them a call.
Right. Well, and ultimately the reason why we're doing these things is we want the property to look better. We want to showcase it, and we want to get maximum results for all our clients. So sometimes you need to invest, to make that happen. So Chris, back to you real quick. Let's talk open house marketing. We got the promote, dazzle, convert, we got the what do we do, before, what do we do during? So let's back to that one open house or open houses in general. How do you market ahead of time?
Yeah. So thanks for giving that intro. Todd, you brought some really good points to me about a month ago when we started talking about this home builder seminar. And so I used a couple of those when I sold this house in San Diego. So this house was located about 75 miles from where I live and where I typically work, generally speaking. It's a friend of mine from the Navy who said, hey, Chris, come in and sell my house. So we staged it, we painted it, we did all of these things, and then I walked the neighborhood. I walked around to each and every house within probably a quarter mile of the house. I dropped a flyer on the desk or on the front porch, and then if they answered the door, I would talk to them, and I would just tell them about this incredible house I had coming on the market. We put the house on the market first weekend. We had 97 people through the house.
Wow.
Of those 97 people, 21 were neighbors. And we were able to convert 2 of those people. I'm not going to handle the listings because it's a little bit far for me to travel on a consistent basis.
Right.
I have a partner agent down there that I'll be working with to get those homes on the market.
Right.
But it definitely works when you walk and you tell the neighbors because they want to know what's going on in their neighborhood. Plus, it also gives them an opportunity to find a friend that they want to buy that house.
Right.
Who doesn't want to live next to a friend, right?
Right, exactly. That's what I've always had. Have the neighbors, let the neighbors pick their neighbors, because then they tell their friends to move in. So real quick, was that a new thing for you? Was that stretching some muscles a little bit? Maybe something you hadn't done before?
Yeah, it's really funny too because I'm a huge extrovert and I can talk to anybody at any time. But I have a real major problem knocking on doors. I'm uncomfortable as can be. So right. It stretched it. And then I have a new listing that I just took last week, and we were there this morning. My wife was going to start staging the property, and we walked in the house, and we're like, oh my gosh, like they completely decluttered. Took them 1 week. They got everything out of the house. It looks so beautiful. And I said, you guys, we got to paint. Like, if we don't paint this house, we're not going to get top dollar. So they agreed this morning to paint it. Painters there doing it. But it gave me another week now to walk that neighborhood. It gave me a week. It kind of stretched it. So now I can walk the neighborhood. And guess what? It's my farm. It's the farm I always work in. And it's been a little slow in the last year. There's 101 homes in that farm. And I've sold, in the last 5 years, I've sold 27 of them. So there's not a lot more homes to sell in there. So it gives me an opportunity now to start knocking on doors. Right.
That's great. That's awesome. Good deal. All right, Davin, how about you? So we got the great photography, we got the pre-marketing. Is there any other marketing? Do you contact the homeowners around the area, like door knocking or anything like that?
I am not a door knocker. It did not work well for me over the years. I'm a direct mail marketer.
Right.
So once again, I will sneak into your home. I'm not going to hire someone to put something on your door. On your screen door. Yeah. I'm actually going to sneak into your kitchen. The way I'm going to sneak into your kitchen is direct mail marketing. I'm going to create a high quality flyer, send it out EDDM, and it's going to go into your mailbox, and you're going to invite me into your home through your mail.
Right.
And you're going to see my listing, and you're going to see me. Right. And I have converted as a result of that. Once again, it's not 100%, but I don't need it to be 100%.
No, right.
I just need the ability to convert from time to time.
Right.
And give me my money back plus. So I'm not a big door knocker.
So you just mentioned, though, every door direct mail.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? What service do you use, or how do you do do you just go to U.S. Postal Service, or do you have a company you work with, or what service?
I get everything I need. I find out, well, to obtain the EDDM information, it's just simply going onto the postal website.
Okay.
I get my postcards made, and my printer will actually get everything set up for EDDM. I know the properties I need, and it just goes out that way. I don't touch it.
So you kind of circle a map or something, or tell your printer an area that what you want?
It goes in by zip code and +4.
Gotcha. Yeah.
+4. Yeah.
All right.
So it's very specific targeting. I don't need to market the entire city for that property. I'm looking at very specific zip codes around that listing.
Okay. So at some point you're a sheriff and you're doing real estate as well.
Yeah.
And, but at some point budget, expenses, marketing comes into play. So postcards, I'm thinking printing, I'm thinking postage, I'm thinking expense. But ironically, when I talk to a lot of the top listers, two things really come out a lot. One is open houses. The second one is postcards and print marketing. And they do a ton of print. So how did you begin to budget and invest? How did you decide to not put that money in your pocket and put it into an expense of printing? And how much, like, is there a percentage, or how much what's an idea of a budget?
I'm actually glad you asked, because when I got into the business 15 years ago, I didn't understand the concept of a budget. Why would I take some money that I earned and invest it towards a business when I actually have bills? So over a course of years, I figured out the best way to actually market a property is by having a budget. So what I do, and it's not a percentage for me, I have a set amount that I take from each closed escrow, and I set it aside. I have it in an envelope. It's in my office, and I shouldn't have put that out there. Now,
I'm coming by your office later today.
Exactly. And I allocate a certain amount of money from each escrow for my marketing expense.
Right.
Okay. And that way I can pay for the photography. That way I'm not charging credit cards. I'm just paying for it.
Right.
My every door direct marketing, my print. So there's an allocation, and it really depends on how much real estate you sell, because if you're selling 3 homes a year, your marketing budget's not going to be the same as what my marketing budget would be or Chris's marketing budget would be. But you have to be able to allocate X number of dollars. You have to invest in your business.
Right.
And so I usually set aside about $1,000, $1,200 per transaction. But once again, I close 30 or so properties a year. So that's my marketing budget.
Right.
I enjoy being able to go into a listing presentation and explaining to them most realtors do not have a marketing budget, and that I do. It helps me.
Right.
Even if your marketing budget is modest, tell your potential client that you have a marketing budget. You don't need to tell them what it is, and tell them how you're going to reinvest in their home.
But so the big question is, did you see, or do you see, a return on your investment and ROI? And how long did it take you, like how long did you have to invest that money before you saw an ROI back?
Yes, I do see. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, I'll let you finish, and then I'll piggyback on top.
Okay. It took me a few years to actually figure it out. But yes, I see a return on investment. And I see, and it happens multiple times a year. Once again, every time we do something, we didn't hit the lotto. Okay, most of the time we do not. But it needs, if you can hit the lotto twice a year, 3 times a year. Luckily for me, I can do it a handful of times a year. By investing $1,000 here, $1,200 here, and it'll pick up another listing, or it creates a situation where a buyer reaches out to me because he received my postcard for a specific property. It gives me the opportunity to list his place and possibly double in the place that I'm trying to sell. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Chris, how about you? You were going to add on to that.
It's interesting because, I've been in the business a couple less years than Davin. And so I started marketing in the area I'm in, and I started with one specific farm. And now I've kind of blossomed out, and I mail 3,900 flyers per month. And I'll show a picture of my flyers. Like I said, I want everybody to be able to use whatever pieces they can use from us. I'm not going to just say, oh, I know how to do this, so I'm going to hold it next to me. But here's a typical flyer that I do. This is the front of my flyer. I don't know if everybody can see that or not.
Yep.
Okay. So I just do something that has to do with the month. So this had to be Easter right here. And we do a little message from me and my wife. And then there's a little picture. We kind of tried to be like Chip and Joanna, if you can see that there.
I love it. It looks like it. Good job.
And then on the back side of the flyer, you'll see that I have a little note from Pure Joy Staging, which is her company. So we co-market on this one. And then this flyer is just tells 3 homes that I've sold recently. And what I'm trying not to do is I'm not trying to be a bragger. I don't want to go out there and say, holy cow, I just closed 5 homes this month, and I want you to see every one of them. I want it to be all about real estate. No, I want it to be about what what season it is. I want them to remember me more than that real estate agent that keeps putting crap in my mail.
Right.
And so I had a title rep tell me one time, Chris, keep being consistent every month. You have to mail once a month. You have to mail once a month. So I've been on the once a month train now for about 13 months. And is it helping? I don't know yet. I think that I'll start seeing some results soon, but I spend probably $1,200 a month on this flyer, and that's the design, the print, and the mailing. Now, like Davin, I actually do it myself. I kind of feel it's therapeutic to do some things that I could actually hire some other people to do, because it kind of lets me, it just kind of brings me back to like, I don't want to pay somebody to do something that takes me 20 or 30 minutes. So I do all my EDDM. And then I like to actually go into post office, because believe it or not, I've been in a post office twice in the last year, and I've gotten 2 leads out of it. I was in there one day with my flyer, and this little old lady was behind me, and she's like, oh my gosh, that flyer is so cute. Your wife is so beautiful. And I went, I know, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. And then I said, by the way, would you like a flyer? She says, absolutely. I got a phone call from her, and we listed her house and we sold it. So it's just another opportunity to be out in front of people.
That is so ironic. When we had Bobby Lieb on talking about our winning listings on our winning listings business builder, he was talking about how everyone kind of gives him a little bit of a hard time because he still goes into the bank. When you can deposit everything electronically, like, why do you need to go to the bank? And he's like, I'll go to the bank and I'll open the door for people and I'll hold it. And he's like, I meet so many people just going to the bank on a regular basis. So it's ironic. That's a great story about going to the post office. I love that. That's great.
One of the postal workers, every time I go in there, I say, hey, when are you going to call me? You're supposed to be calling me. You said you wanted to buy a house. And she's like, I'm almost there. So it gives me a chance to keep talking to them. And then they get to know me and they get to know what I do. And then they can tell people too.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm getting a question from one of the agents. Valerie is asking, can they discuss converting open house leads?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you're there at the open house. You had 97 people come through. You had 21 of them be neighbors. Mm-hmm. So the 21 neighbors you convert into listings. That's the goal, or that's what you're trying. But then the other, the 70-some people, you're looking, to convert them. What do you do? How do you convert?
I think there's a couple different ways, and I've tried both of them. I know that when you have a sign-in sheet, you get a lot of pushback from people. And they don't want to sign in because the typical real estate agent will call them and call them and call them and call them and call them. So I've used that method before, but I've also used an iPad method where you use Open House Pro. I don't know if anybody's heard of that, Open House Pro. And then they go in there and they can put in their information. And they can even check if they have a real estate agent. I don't like to call people that have real estate agents. It's very intrusive.
Right.
So 2 different ways. And then the third way that I personally like to do is I just give them my business card and I say, hey, if you're in the market to buy or sell, I'd love to help you out. You've kind of heard from me here. If you're interested in using my services, then please give me a call. That works for me.
So out of that 97 people that came through, how many of them would you consider had warm engagement, like multiple contact after, and then it whittles down and you really get some that you really begin to work with, convert, right?
I have 7 right now that I'm still in active communication with, and I have 4 that are working with another partner agent in San Diego right now on purchasing. So that's kind of where I was at on that. There were a lot of people that came to the open house that will not answer the phone, that will not anything. So I give it 2 shots and then I stop. Okay.
How about you, Davin?
When I'm in an open house, I'm low pressure because just like Chris said, I don't want to be too pushy. You have to sign my login. No, you don't. I don't want Fred Flintstone signing into my open house.
Right.
So I just ask them softly, very soft, if they don't mind signing in. And I ask them if they're working with a lender, working with another realtor. My secret sauce isn't necessarily them signing in. is me giving them my business card or giving them my flyer and letting them know that my app is actually on the flyer or my business card. And I tell them, I ask them, how are they searching for properties? If they say that they have a realtor center, okay, that's fine. We leave it alone. If they say that they're using Zillow or Redfin, I let them know that my app is actually more accurate than Zillow and Redfin. Unfortunately, sometimes when Zillow has a listing that shows it's available, it may have went in escrow 2 or 3 days ago. It just hasn't been updated yet. I let them know that my app is actually tied directly to the multiple listing service. And that has been my secret sauce. I have obtained, I couldn't tell you how many clients as a result of my app. That's my secret sauce. It's on my business card. It's on my flyers. It's on everything that I do.
So can you track and see what they're doing on your app?
I absolutely can. There's a little feature on the app where if I hit, I think it's called Agent Insights, I can see who's been on the app. They have to log into my app. So they need to use their telephone number and their email address. Okay. And under Agent Insights, it actually shows me who's been looking at my app, how recently they've been looking at my app, and if they saved properties as favorites, I can see which properties they saved. Once I see that they've saved 2 or 3 properties, I give them a call, say, hey, this is Davin Emmons. I see that you saved 3 properties at 123 Main Street, 345 Main Street. When are you available to go view the properties? That has been my secret sauce in the last couple of years. Got it.
Okay, so I'm getting a question about what app are you using? And I know you recently changed, but what app did you used to use?
I don't remember the one that I used to use, but the current developer is HomeStack, HomeStack. And I'm telling you, that's been my secret sauce. But it has to be marketed properly and it has to be utilized properly. I'm not shy about putting that information out to people coming to my open house. Or, I mean, you know, Chris was talking about his contacts at the post office. I picked up a client at the AAA, local AAA, as a result of my app. Right. It works.
Right.
It's a very soft way of being pushy.
So do you set goals about, I want to give my app out so many times in a week, or I want to get so much engagement, or I want to get expand my sphere, I want more and more every day? Or is it just natural, it's just ingrained in you? Or are you setting a goal?
I don't set a goal, I just do it.
Okay.
You know, I don't wake up every first of the month and say I need to do this 80 times, 90 times. I just do it. Every opportunity I have to talk about my app or pass out a business card, I do it. Yeah. I don't care where I am.
Right.
I carry a stack of business cards with me, and my goal, I actually have a goal every day. I have a goal to give out 10 business cards per day.
I like that.
I don't always do it, but I try to give it out. I go to lunch, I give it to the waiter or waitress. I just, at the end of the day, worst come to worst, I'll throw it away, or they'll just put it in their glove box of their car. But you know, the more you put your something in front of somebody, they're gonna remember, hey, I should call this guy.
Right. So one question coming through from a group real quick. It's about the 97 people through the open house. How did you get so many people to an open house? I've used 60 to 70 signs, feather flags, social media advertising, door knocking in the neighborhood, and free food. And I've never had more than 25 to 35 people through. So I'm in Oceanside. How would you answer that?
We did a ton of Facebook marketing before. As we were prepping the house to get ready to go on the market, we were painting the exterior. We were doing live videos from there. We would go on Facebook, Instagram. We would put up whatever we could. I got a gal that does all my social media, and she crushes the coming soon stuff. And so I think that's it. And then there's just other really great realtors that like to share your stuff. My business Instagram page is I have quite a few followers that actually share my stuff out. I know I've shared Davin's stuff out before. He's shared my stuff out before, because at the end of the day, we all work together. I mean, I may not have a buyer for Davin's property, but a realtor that follows my page may have one. So why not share his stuff? It's okay.
Right.
That's how I got a lot of them. but I'm also really heavily connected in San Diego because I'm prior military. So I put it out to a lot of on my personal site too, on my personal Instagram and Facebook. And then my friends saw that, they told people about it. And I just priced the home right. That house probably should have listed for $599 or excuse me, $499. And we listed it for $474.9, and I ended up with 13 offers on the property in the first weekend. Sold it for $37,000 above ask price. So I created a buzz around that property. Oh, and one more thing that I did was I always do a Zillow video. Every single time I do a property and I put it on the market, I have my photographer do a Zillow video. Because if you know how Zillow analytics work, is the people that have videos go to the top. You can have the newest listing, but you could be below somebody who's been on the market for 2 weeks because they have a video and you don't. So if you don't do a Zillow video, you're not going to be the top guy.
Okay. Do you, Davin, do you market your open houses on Zillow or any of those things?
I do. I try to. The key is marketing. I mean, you need to have the exposure in order to have people come through. Chris was talking about 97. I haven't had that many in forever. I did recently have one where I had probably about 45 people come through. I'll take that.
Yeah,
I'll take that. And once again, it's the Zillow marketing, it's the direct mail marketing, it's the exposure, it's the social media marketing, it's exposure. If you're not getting the maximum exposure on your listing, forget about it.
Right.
Forget about it. You have to get the maximum exposure.
Yeah, so I am getting a question asked Davin about Facebook marketing or Instagram. And also, do you have any advice different when the open houses you're holding are not your listings?
Oh, that's good question.
You actually paused on that, Todd. I apologize. So I didn't get that.
The question was, talk about Facebook and Instagram marketing, number one. Okay. Number two, is the advice for marketing open houses any different when the open house is not your listing?
Well, the only open houses I do are my listings. You know, luckily I have enough listings to keep me busy. If it was not my listing, I would still market the property on social media, because ultimately what you're doing with your sphere of influence on social media is trying to get people in there so that you can try to convert leads. So I would say with any open house that you do, whether it's your listing or whether it's someone else's listing, you have to market the property so that you can try to get people in there so that you can try to convert new leads.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think too, I think that's really great advice. I'll tell you as a listing agent, primary listings in the last 2 years is if you sit somebody else's open house, you need to actually try to sell that house too. At the same time, you're acquiring leads. Because I know as a listing agent, if I were to come across information that you weren't trying to sell the property, that you were more trying to worry about getting leads out of it. I mean, you did ask us to hold an open house on my property to sell that property.
Right.
So, and I know Davin's the same way. He's like, you're going to hold my open house. Please try to sell that first and foremost.
Yeah, Davin, you actually said that to me last week when we were talking about this ahead of time. You were like, that's the number one priority is selling that open house.
You have to. I mean, otherwise, what's the purpose? If you're going to sit in an open house, do everything you can to sell that property. And once again, just like Chris just said, and if not, that may not be the right property for the people coming through. Okay. Well, then I can show you something else.
Yep.
Right. So back to the, Chris, do you do open houses for open houses that aren't your listings? Because you said, that's a good question when she said that.
I don't do them currently because I have enough listings that I'm working on right now. And then honestly, to be truthful, if I don't have an open house listing, I'm going to go to the beach for the weekend.
I love it. All right. One of the questions was, okay, describe what you do for your Zillow video. Are you doing Zillow 3D home tour, or are you just doing a video with your phone, or you having something like using the HomeSmart virtual tour and uploading it as a video? What are you doing?
So I know Davin uses a really good photographer too, and they offer this service too, where they will actually go through with a smartphone on a gimbal so that it doesn't, teeter totter as they're doing it, and they'll just do a walkthrough of the property, and it's got to be under, I think, 1 minute and 3 seconds or something like that, and then it automatically uploads to Zillow. And you can do that before the listing goes live. In fact, I would recommend, if you're going to do a Zillow video, that you have it go before it goes live. And if anybody wants any more information on that, definitely reach out to me, text me, or call me, or even email me, and I can put your photographer in touch with our photographer that we use here, so that way they could tell them how to do it. So,
love it. Davin, back to the Facebook and Instagram marketing. What do you do that we haven't talked about on Facebook or on Instagram? Do you have a personal Facebook and a business? Do you do Facebook? Do you do just only Instagram?
No, I do both. I'm a little more consistent on my personal page than my business page. I was actually very active on my business page. I run out of time in the day. My days are typically about 10 to 13, 14 hours every day. And I was grateful for Easter yesterday because it gave me an opportunity to take a day off. But I'm out there every day, and I typically just post what I'm doing, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram, and just getting into Snapchat because of my children. But it's, it's what am I doing today? I'm showing property in, Mission Viejo. I just put a property in escrow in, Corona. My goal is to let everyone know where I'm working. Now, Chris is very fortunate. His business is tight knit. I mean, he is killing the Lardie Ranch in South Orange County market. Mine is a little more sparse. I'm based in Mission Viejo, Orange County, but I go to the Inland Empire in Los Angeles as well. I want everyone to know where I'm at, so that when they're thinking about buying or selling a piece of real estate, they say, let's call Davin.
Right.
And so that's why I'm out there on social media. Chris, I'm telling you, is running an amazing business locally.
Great. So we have 9 minutes left. How about open houses in general? What have we not covered? And what maybe is even a unique point of view on open houses? Do either of you have something we haven't talked about? Or
I would say be consistent.
Yeah.
I think most realtors will agree that you're not converting at every open house. But if you're not doing the open houses, you lessen your opportunity to convert. What I've explained to a lot of my colleagues here is, I remember when I was a newer realtor, I was doing an open house in Lardie Ranch, as a matter of fact, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing it at a property perhaps I shouldn't have been doing. It was a higher end property. I didn't really have that level of expertise, but I said, okay, I've already made this commitment, so I did it. And once again, most of what we do, we're not going to convert. But a young couple came in, interested in the property. They actually said they wanted to purchase one of these properties when it was a new development. I told them, well, we can write this offer now. They said, well, we have a property we need to sell. And they said they had an agent that they were going to list with. And this agent was a huge producer in the Aliso Viejo market, huge producer. I said, well, I just want the opportunity to compete for your listing, and I can help you purchase a property. I kid you not. The next day, they called me and said, Davin, we want to talk to you about listing our home. I took that as an opportunity to meet with them for a listing presentation. I went prepared. I did all my homework. Here we go. This is my opportunity. When I was done with my listing presentation, they said, we just wanted to sign a listing agreement with you. We want you to sell this home, and we want to buy another home. Based on an $850,000 open house, I listed their home in Aliso Viejo for, I think, $620,000, double-ended it, and sold them a home in Lardie Ranch for, I think, 1.1. If I wasn't doing that open house that day, I would have missed out on a huge opportunity.
Right.
If you're not doing the open house, don't complain if your business isn't where you need it to be.
Right. So I got to piggyback on that for just a second. Was talking to a team leader the other day, runs a large team, and he told me about how an agent was, needing to get some business going, newer to the business, and so was sitting in open house, and a professional golfer, a very famous professional golfer, and his wife walked in the door. And just because he happened to be sitting there that day, got 2 transactions, very nice transactions, but they needed help, and they needed help that day. And because he was there, and that's where is it luck? Some people, I always like to say, it's where preparation meets opportunity. Your preparation is you're investing 2 hours of time in an open house in an area with signs out, ready to meet people, ready to get face to face. So it's it meets that opportunity. And so I love that story that you just told, because that's a minimum of 3 deals.
It was 3 transactions. No, at the point it was 3 transactions. It's been about 7 transactions now because I got referred out to family and friends as well.
Yeah, that's great.
1 open house.
Yep.
Does it happen every open house? No. It just needs to happen from time to time. And if you're not there, it's not going to happen.
Right. How about you, Chris?
I've had some pretty good luck with the same type of thing. We're actually working one right now that is going to blossom into probably 4 transactions between a $30,000 a month lease to a property at 1.3 that we're in escrow on, to now they just told me they want to buy a property on Newport Coast for up to $7 million. And it all happened because I answered the phone to somebody who wanted to see one of my houses. So
you never know.
Yeah. And somebody asked a question about Premier Agents. I saw that on the Angela did.
Yep.
So I'm a Premier Agent myself. I'm not sure if Davin is.
I am.
I'm not a big advocate of Zillow. I will tell you straight up, I feel like they steal a lot of our business. But I do advertise on there because I feel if I want to stay ahead of it, I got to be advertising on it.
Right. Okay. I have a question here. Someone talking about if they have a horse property listing, not a huge neighborhood, should I do an open house?
Yes. And I think what you've got to do, and that is you've got to be marketing that property to all of the local stables, and you've got to be marketing it to people who actually have horses that are boarding in other places. So it may take a little bit of work to find that information, but there's a lot of places that people board homes, board horses, and it's because they don't have a property that they can put their horses on.
Yes, that's great advice.
Yeah.
And if by chance you still have the listings when it comes around time in May for the Kentucky Derby, hold the Kentucky Derby open house. Well, perfect for a horse.
There you go. Great idea.
Have a big old party with the hats and the hors d'oeuvres and everything. Like hold a themed open house, right?
Yep. It's just like the day after the Masters. You should always hold an open house on that day, especially when a big golfer wins. If you've got a house on a golf course, you should be holding an open house after the Masters because everybody wants to live there.
That's a great idea. That's an awesome idea.
So, and can I say one last thing?
Yes.
I like to impart my my limited wisdom on people, but if you farm an area, take interest in your farm. And what I mean by that is like throw block parties, bring food trucks out, do whatever you do, but invest in that farm. It's made me really successful in one little area of Ladera is that I farm it and I invest in those people. I've held chili cook-offs. I've held Halloween parties for them. I brought the In-N-Out truck every year for the past 5 years, and I served the entire neighborhood In-N-Out burgers. It just brings people to know who you are.
Love it. Davin, how about you? We only got a couple minutes left. Parting thoughts to our audience.
Parting thoughts is be consistent. Yeah. You have to do something. I'll tell you also, if you have an office, you have to go to work.
Yeah.
There's some people, like Chris is one, he has his home office, but for me, I need to be in the office every day. You never know what type of conversations are going on in the office. It might spark something. This is what I tell some of the newer agents. Be available, be in the office, and be consistent. Once again, do your open houses, keep social media in your wheelhouse. And if you have the ability, if you pick up a listing or if you sell a home, don't be afraid to share that through direct mail marketing. You have to use all of your tools available to find success.
Yep.
Got to tell you this one comment right here. Thank you, period. Truth.
There you go.
I like Chris, how about you? Parting thoughts?
Well, I like to keep this little poster here above my desk or above my printers, and it just reminds me that the harder I work, the more golf I can play. So I come in every morning and I have a detached casita from my house, but I get to see this every time I walk in, and I just know that I'm going to carve out that time, because we can get so wrapped up in our business and we can get so intertwined with everything that's going on in real estate that we don't live our lives. And if you are unhealthy in your life and all you focus on is real estate, your clients see that and they see you're desperate for a sale. So balance your life, go to lunch with your spouse or your friends or whatever. Just kind of take a break from real estate, an hour or two a day, just to kind of get your mind healthy. And it really helps you when you're meeting with those clients.
You know what? Can I jump in there?
Yes.
Chris says balance. And that's something that I'm learning. You mentioned earlier I served 29 years with the LA County Sheriff's Department. I have 2 full-time jobs for 14 years. And balance was something I did not have that I'm trying to learn now. So he's absolutely right. You have to allocate some time for yourself. When I had the 2 full-time jobs, there was no time for me. It was get up, let's go play cops and robbers, and then let's go sell real estate. And now that I'm retired from the Sheriff's Department for the past 18 months, I'm trying to find that balance a little bit better.
Awesome advice. And
last thing, Todd, I'm available. I think Davin is too. Anybody that wants some more information, feel free to text. I have no problems getting on a phone and giving you some ideas. It's, I'm not going to hold my secrets to myself.
Right.
Especially the HomeSmart family.
Yeah.
We're family. We're all trying to build this brand to make it a stronger brand, and it will make all of our businesses easier.
Yep. Well, we're getting so many thank yous coming in on the chats. The best open house webinar of the series yet. Love it. So thank you, both of you. I admire both of you. I'm proud to work with both of you. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Davin, for joining us here today. And onward and upward, right?
We'll see you next year at the gala, okay?
Next year at the gala, you got it. We'll see you there.
Drinks on you.
You got it.
On me, yep. See you later.
All right. Goodbye, everyone. We'll see you then, in the future. See you next week. Thanks for joining us today. Take care.